What's happening, people? Welcome back to the show. Got myself and lead judges, and of course, Super Kevin Campbell. Kev, how you doing, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, Dan. I'm good, mate. Looking forward to the show.
Yeah, man. So am I. It's been a weird weekend. I can't lie. Friday nights. I can't remember the last Friday night we played, to be honest. But it's normally nice because you can normally relax knowing you've got 3 points. That weren't the case. But before we get on to Arsenal, I want to talk a little bit about the weekend's games and the other scenarios in touch of the FA Cup and the Premier League. And today I was around my families and I really thought, wow, thank God I didn't travel up to Newcastle and have 6 foot passes. Now I don't want to talk too soon because we've got to go there, but they were a shower of absolute shite. And I've been an Arsenal fan for over 30 years now, and I've seen some bad performances in my time. I've seen some bottle jobs. I've seen some, what other words have we been hearing the last few days? Done and dusted. I've heard people choke. I've heard people bottle. I've seen people do it all. Um, Never have I ever seen a team destroy someone in 8 minutes of football when it is game over, done and dusted. Now, we can't smile too loudly because actually it's quite deflating what happened to us on Friday night. But I wanted to get your thoughts, Lee, on the weekend's results other than Arsenal. First, because Manchester United are in the FA Cup final. Manchester City have got the Manchester Derby in the FA Cup final. And Tottenham Hotspur are a finished and done and dusted club, as far as I'm concerned, mate.
There's got to be a record in it. 20 minutes and be 5-0 down. It's got to be a Premiership record. Like, I don't know, but I would imagine so. Listen, I goes at football today, and all of them there. You know what I mean? Blue Moon. What time we pretending to be Man City fans? What time we going? What time we meeting for Wednesday? We'll see you down there. We'll see you in Manchester, Lee. We're going to go to the Blue Moon pub and all this, right? Yeah. They lied to me because when I was watching the Spurs game with them, right. They all seem to be very upset considering it's not their team. You know what I mean? Man City fans, I thought they was quite, quite upset considering all these goals are going into a team that they don't care about no more. And I loved it. I kept jumping up. I got cramp, kept jumping up and down in my chair 5 times in 10 minutes. You know what I mean? I've done more work in the bar than I did out on the pitch. Unbelievable, you know what I mean? So very enjoyable. Listen, whatever happens in this title race, and we've got to keep ourselves in it, boys. I'll tell you this now, because Brighton Hove Albion are a very, very good team. I thought they was fantastic today. They missed their striker today. If they'd have had him out today, I think they'd have won it, because what they would have done.
Don't make much of the other striker they've got.
Ferguson, no, he had a very good chance. Do you know that if he'd have controlled that was a move from back to front against Man United. Wasn't it? And I'll tell you what, it ain't the first time. And listen, that's what he's there to do, the goalkeeper deal. I know he makes mistakes, but if it wasn't for him, they don't win that game, you know. So all credit to Brighton. Top 4, I'm going to say it now. It pains me to say it. Don't sleep on Liverpool. I think that they've got still a very, very good chance of getting it there. You know, it seems to have just hit the form at the right time, so they could be really in there, like, you know. But it's looking like Newcastle, I think, have set themselves up there. That was a great result for them today. They needed to win today, and I think they've done very, very well. And listen, it seems in the top race for top 4, it's like one team has a good result, and then the other sort of drop down. Like, you know, Aston Villa couldn't get the job done yesterday after a couple of good wins. Was it 5 wins on the trot for Aston Villa, and everybody's going how great that is. Now they've drawn now. Like, I don't see anybody saying, "Oh, they're bottling it and cracking it up," and they're crumbling and everything like that. That Arsenal
they saved that for us, Lee. Come on,
they saved that for the whole Arsenal, like, you know what I mean. But we're going to get on to us in a minute. But in the end, it's been a tough weekend. I've got to say that, like, because it was hard on Friday, and to enjoy some of the football afterwards. But to be honest, I actually was in the bar today, watched the West Brom Sunderland game as well. I'll tell you what, that championship is a tough hole. You know, you talk about
horrible league, isn't it?
Predicting results in that, I'll tell you, like, it's just so hard to get wins in that. And you know, Burnley lost, didn't they? Lost it a week at home, you know what I mean? So it's just an unbelievable.
I tell you, like, on my channel every week, the lads are on there talking about who's going down, and I always sit there and you can see that all of them know if they go down, there's absolutely zero guarantee they're going up
That you
next.
come back.
That is
Yeah.
Yeah,
horrible league.
yeah. It is. It's a real tough, and if you have a look at all the leagues at the moment, there's 4 or 5 teams battling for every sort of position, in there. It's a real difficult for. So I really enjoyed that game today, and when you and we was talking about this in the clubhouse, and you probably know more about it than me. The football league season changes from April to May now, because it becomes different. It's just the pressures on teams. I believe 4-5 weeks ago, West Brom win that game comfortably, but now the pressure, they needed to win that game. The pressure is on.
For playoff, yeah.
It's a playoff sort of thing. Like, was it? Who did Millwall play? Millwall played Wigan. They played Wigan
and got done away at Wigan.
They got done. Basically, probably like ending up. And Millwall 5 weeks ago were nailed on for a playoff place. You think, oh no, like Millwall, they've lost 5 games on the spit. I haven't won for 5 games now. This from April to May it changes. You know what I mean? Without a doubt, Forest could have got something at Liverpool yesterday. Though, it was unlucky at the bar. All these teams, are putting up real staunch performances. And other teams like West Ham have come out of their little rut, haven't they, and been fantastic over the last. Bournemouth beat Spurs last week and get done 4-0 at home today.
Exactly.
It is,
Horrible, isn't it?
This league's not over and done. It's not done and dusted at this time,
Lee, let's add to that. Look at Leicester. Leicester couldn't buy a win.
Yeah.
Then
Leicester,
all of a sudden, Midlands derby. They
Get
first home game for the new manager and staff, and they go and beat Wolves 2-1 at home. Now they're out of the bottom 3.
Yeah, jumps out of it.
It's an incredible league. This league
it does change every week, man. It changes.
And the greatest thing is, and I can tell you this now, one of the biggest things is that the Champions League now for Manchester City is Manchester City have got Everton in between those 2 Real Madrid games. Everton away, Everton desperate for some points and all that. There is no guarantee that they're going to go and win every single game, Manchester City. So people going on. We've got to win on. We've got to win on at Manchester City. Yes, it'd be nice to win, but we can't lose. That's the difference. We have not. We've got to stay
in it.
Stay in this bloody league. You know what I mean?
In the race, you got to stay in the race. I tell you. And do you know what, Dan? Sorry, I'm just going to flip it round and say something about Friday. I think it's really. I was doing pit side, right? And I was with Franny Benali at the side, and we were talking about pressure. We're talking about pressure. And Franny was saying, I'd much rather the pressure at the top of the league than the bottom of the league. Why? Because really the pressure is just about results, so to speak, because you're going for the Holy Grail. You're never going to be relegated, but you're going for the Holy Grail. But Franny, that's a pressure in itself. The pressure is who you're going against are a monster and they're killers. They're built for this time of the season, as they call it, down the stretch. You're coming around the home stretch. Manchester City, they could field 2 teams. Unfortunately, we can't, Dan, can we? We can't. And... we've spoken earlier on in the season about if certain players aren't there, if Thomas Partey ain't there. We miss Jesus. We've done a good job covering up for Jesus. But the one thing we can't do a good job of? Thomas Partey in midfield. If he don't play well or he don't play, we kind of struggle. And now we see Saliba at the back. And this is and by the way, this is no disrespect to Rob Holding, because we haven't lost games. But there's a difference about us from the back. We're not as assured at the back. We don't deal with things as easy at the back when Saliba's not there. And by God, we miss him so much.
Yeah.
And I don't think Southampton might score, but I don't think they score 3 goals. No chance on Friday if Saliba's there. But he's not there. And you know what? At the start, we done everything to self-destruct.
Yeah.
We done everything we could to self-destruct.
It's mad. It really
first
was.
2 goals, We'll get on to Ramsdale. I'm sure you've got
Yeah.
an opinion, Dan, on Ramsdale. But I want you to look at the second goal for Theo Walcott, who scores against us again. When we give the ball away in midfield and the Alcaraz gets on the ball, the problem with, and listen, Gabriel has been outstanding this season. But as a defender, if you can't see the striker,
Yeah.
you've got to get back into that space. So you got to try. I thought his body position was all wrong
All wrong, yeah.
because he didn't see him and he's running inside here. The ball gets played in here. He doesn't even know where Theo Walcott is. He's got to try and have a look at where he is. So at least he could put the body. I'd rather him put the body on him a little bit to challenge it. So that gives us a hell of a mountain to climb. But you know what, guys? At 87 minutes, if I said to you, Lee, Dan, we'll get a draw out of this, you'd say we'd take it.
Yeah.
I would have said no
100%.
chance. I tell you that. I would have said
Yeah,
no
you
chance.
would have said no chance,
as
but
well,
you'd say we'd
but I'd
take
taken
it.
100%.
But you know what? Again, guys, I'm going to say this. I'm disappointed we didn't win. Of course, 100%. But I'm so happy we didn't lose because we're still on an unbeaten run, believe it or not. What is it? 11 games? 10 games? 11
It's
games?
10 games now.
10 games unbeaten. We are. Yeah, we've messed up. We've dropped 6 points, so to speak. But we're still on an unbeaten run. And you know what? It was always coming down to Wednesday.
Well, it is going to come down to Wednesday even more so now, and it has to be a must-win. And we'll come into that in a bit. Can I just ask you, Lee, the team news, before we go into who's at fault of goals and all that? We're going to come into that individually because I think all 3 goals are actually individual errors and we gifted them. But the team news for me, I think it's pretty clear that Saliba's not fit, so Holding comes in. When we hear that Granit Xhaka's unwell, and I hope he's back, by the way, on Wednesday because we missed him, I said to you and Robbie and Julian in the studio, I said, I think we're going to miss Granit Xhaka, you know. I said, as long as we don't go with Vieira, I'd like to see either Trossard there, maybe Jorginho, who I don't quite understand why we bought. It looks a bit of a strange decision not to be playing him for me, or Smith Rowe. I mean, play Fabio Vieira. Now, that's a big risk for me because he hasn't deserved to get the nod. He ain't been playing well. I don't think he looks good enough to be an Arsenal player, in my opinion. I might change in a few years' time, but he doesn't look like any type of Santi or Fabregas type money that we spent on him. 38 million, was it? 34 million? Wow. No. He's a Lokonga type or Tavares for me. Needs to go out on loan or get sold. So he comes in and it was woeful. It was absolutely woeful performance. Now, it's not his fault that we ain't won the game because individually there was other people that are at fault. That just seemed like a really strange decision for me. I wanted to get your thoughts on why you believe that Arteta gave him the nod over Zinchenko in the middle and Tierney at left back, over Smith Rowe or over Trossard, mate, or over Jorginho. There's so many other options.
Listen, we all said, like, you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but we all said it. You know, do you remember at the end of end of that stream? Said, "Are you happy with the team?" And we all went, "No."
No,
you know,
exactly.
One because Xhaka was out, but looking at it, and you know, I have to say the question. You know, I understand why he's played Vieira because Vieira sort of come on for him in those few games and everything like that, and you know, but for me, you know. If I was Tierney, I don't know why Tierney hasn't played at left back and then put Zinchenko in there. That was an option for him as well. Like once, because we didn't think Zinchenko was going to play. It was rumours he weren't going to play. But as soon as he was in the team, I thought, oh, he could have gone down that route. And I really don't understand, you know, we was talking about Jorginho. I don't understand why Smith Rowe's not getting a chance. And as we all said, you know, it's going to be a massive game for Vieira. Massive game for him. He fouled. It was not just him, you know what I mean? All the things that were around it and everything like that. I still think there's a player there for him. But I also talking about this with Adrian today, like, you know, and Kevin will know a little bit about this as well. Like I've played like centre midfield most of my time, right? But over the last since I've had my injury, now, I've been playing out wide. Last couple of games, I've come into back into the midfield, and I've noticed how completely different the game is to when you're out wide. When you're playing wide, you have a little bit more time on the ball. There's not so much going on in there, like
Traffic.
you know what I mean.
There's not as much traffic, is there?
There's not so much traffic, you know. when you're playing out wide, you know you can go one way, this way. You've got 3 options. In midfield, there's a few more and whatever. And I think that he's been playing out wide, playing as a wide player. And all of a sudden, he's been asked to come into the midfield. Very difficult. Not making excuses, but that's how it is, But so I don't really understand it. But, a couple of questions on that. We've not got a replacement for Granit Xhaka at all. Where is the replacement for Granit Xhaka? We know he's a machine, but what happens if he'd have got injured 6 weeks ago? What was we going to do? We've been very, very fortunate that he's hopefully only ill. But even when you're playing like the bottom of the league side, you need your best players playing. It's bad enough we've got Saliba out. We've got Shinchenko back in, and then to lose Xhaka. And I'm getting fed up with it a little bit. Every time, looking forward to going, really looking forward to the Man City game. And then there was the rumours that Partey was out and he was injured and he didn't play. And then this game there seems to be players missing. I look back at, and I can tell you that now, massive, massive loss is Tomiyasu. Both
huge.
got injured in that game against Sporting. Because Saliba went off in that game as well, But that was that I look at that game now. Not only did we go out, we bloody we lost two players that day. Massive loss, because once Saliba went down, I said, didn't I? Do you remember, Dan, at the beginning of the season when I see him in America? I said, this kid's a game changer. He game changes us. I said to you, go at that Crystal Palace game. You wait till you see it. I was so excited about how good this kid was. And you can't have him missing. The thing is, we've Manchester City, they have one player missing, but they've got as good a player coming in. Maybe not as good, but there's nothing changed. We're taking Saliba out and we're putting in Holding. It's a massive drop. And I'll tell you what, with Holding yesterday, while we're on the subject, I thought it was. And it's been out of order, the criticism that he's getting. People saying about, look where he was on the line. He wasn't high enough. He wasn't marking. I actually put that on.
Is this Holding?
I thought I watched the game. Yeah, Holding. The fact is, he's dropped off because we've got the ball in midfield and we give it away cheaply. The fact of the matter is, we give it away and then Holding's dropped off to give him the. If they play the way that sensible football, they play it back to Holding and go across the other side, but they tried a little intricate one.
He has to supply the depth. He has to supply
supplied the depth to come out so we can go out the other way. We tried an intricate little ball inside the midfield and got caught, and we're blaming Holding for it. We give the ball away poorly in midfield for that second goal. Yes, you can criticise him on the third goal from the corner, but I'll ask you this. You've got a defense. Was he a set piece specialist? I don't know how much he's on, but I bet he's on more than what we are, right? And he decides to say, "I'll tell you what. On the back post with their big centre half, we'll have Saka marking and Shinchenko. He's a 6'4" centre half. You've got to go like for like in there. Even I know that. Just little basic errors cost us, and I'm going to say it now.
Lee, but the problem was, let me just add to that. The problem was because they changed their system and put 3 centre halves on. So first off, it was 2 centre halves. Then they brought the other centre half on. Now they're a bigger side.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now they're a bigger side. It can't be like for like anymore because they've already made the adjustment. Maybe Partey would pick somebody up or whatever. And if you get the flick on in the first place, the defenders are in big problems. Doesn't matter how big. We used to do it at Arsenal. Do you remember? We used to get Steve Bolt to flick it on, and Tony Adams used to come in at the back post, and nobody could stop it because it is one of the hardest things to pick up the flight of that second ball. But no excuses. But they were just a little bit bigger side in that second half.
Zonal marking as well, man. It's like we don't do man marking. So they don't look at, he's big, I'll pick up him. He's big, I'll pick up him. They go in zones. But for me, Nicolas Jova deserves a hell of a lot of credit because the set pieces that we conceded last season was pretty much 0 until the last few games. We conceded 2 all season. We scored many. Likewise, we started the season pretty well, in my opinion. We scored from set pieces and didn't start to concede. Final third of this season, they've dried up in terms of goals. I can remember Gabriel scoring against Fulham with a header, but that's about it. and then we're definitely conceding. And I'm going to bring in
Scored
this
from a
super
set
chat.
piece against Chelsea
Yeah.
as
I'm going to
well.
bring in. Yeah, we did that. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to bring in this super chat from Shay Tanya because I think this is spot on. I think we've already touched on the missing Saliba, and perhaps this does come into it. It definitely comes into it for me. But I heard a damning stat after Friday's draw, which feels like a loss. Only Leeds and Southampton have conceded more home goals than Arsenal. We are third worst in the league for conceding goals at home. So I keep getting asked, damn, why do we concede at home? And my excuse for it is always we're a little bit more excitable, we're a little bit more rash, we go gung ho, we try and get the crowd get up for it, and we always try to look at how we can, can put out this performance. And it's always 3-2. 3-2 against Man United, 3-2 against Liverpool, 3-3 the other night, 3-2
3-2
against Bournemouth,
Bournemouth.
4-2 against Leicester. We can never do a convincing 3-0 at the Emirates or a 4-0 even, a battering. So I want to ask this because Chaitanya's brought it up saying, lads, are you concerned about our defence? It's 7 goals in the last 3 games. We need to sort that out ASAP. We're missing Saliba badly. And how can we fix it? Lee, what's your thoughts on this one, mate?
Listen, I've said all the season, I've said that's something that we've got to address, and we've not addressed it. You know what I mean? We do concede goals, but when you're winning, covers up 1,000 sins. That's what it does. But I do think that we have been a little bit too open at times. But I will say this: if you look at Manchester City, they're vulnerable to it as well. The counter attack, and it is a counter attack. You know, we are caught
susceptible to.
We're susceptible to it. Yeah, we take risks like we did with the Ramsdale one. We get onto that in a minute. You know what I mean? It was ridiculous, but we do take risks. Sometimes that we get the risk for the reward. I remember doing that last season. I think it was against Southampton. And Lacazette scored. It's one of the best goals I've ever seen at the Emirates for passing and all that. Risk for reward. But it's something that's been there. Now, yes, it's got worse under Saliba, right? With not being there, but we were still conceding goals when he was there.
When he was there,
let's be honest. And the fact of the matter is, when when Holding come in against the likes of Leeds and Crystal Palace, we knew we could get away with it. It was always going to be a test from away from home. That's been my problem. We've conceded 2 away from home against Liverpool, 2 away at West Ham. Our defensive record away from home is something to be proud of. I know people go on about home and all that, but that we play differently. We defend differently at home than we do away from home. That's what it comes to. But it's something that we've got to address. I think that at times, I don't think it may be down to our defending. I think that we get overrun in midfield a little bit, like we did on Friday. I felt like Thomas Partey seemed to be there on his own at times. I get what we're doing. That's what we do. But yeah, I think it's something that we've listen, when you've got to score 2 goals every game to win a game, sometimes the forwards are not good.
To win, we got to score 3.
Yeah, to win 3. Yeah, sometimes
you know what I mean? It's crazy.
You're putting a lot of pressure on your attacking players. You're putting a lot of pressure on.
But also, Lee, I'll tell you this much. As an away player, when Arsenal give 2 gifts like they've given, we could just sit in. Lovely. We'll just sit in. We'll bank up, come and break us down, and we'll try and catch you on the break. Now, what do Arsenal have to do? Arsenal have to commit people forward to try and get back into the game. And that's perfect for the away teams. Whereas when we're away, going on to Chatanya's super chat, when we're away, the opposition have to come and attack. So then we become a counter-attacking team. And that suits us with Saka, Martinelli, with Jesus, with Eddie, with whoever we've got. It suits us perfectly because we can play through them and we could stifle them. That is why. At the Emirates, we have to go and take the game to the opposition. So what we've got to do, Lee, we've got to mature, guys.
Yeah.
We're still a young team. And we're a talented team. We've been top all season. But we're not mature yet as a team to know when to go, when to chill, when to go for the jugular, when to kill, when to just keep the ball. We're not quite there yet as a team. and
Yeah.
it's showing now. You know, we're wobbling, we're creaking, we're shaking, but we're not breaking.
Naivety has cost us this season in parts, quite a few games, in my opinion. And you're going to get that with a young manager and a young team because they're all learning and stuff. But what frustrates me, Lee, is when you cannot have any excuses for 20 seconds into a game, a goalkeeper doing what he's done. Now, I rung you on the way home and you and I weren't happy on the phone, ranting to each other, right? But I do not remember a season, certainly at the Emirates, maybe even at Highbury as well, in the 30 years that I've been with, that we have conceded in 9 seconds and 20 seconds in one season. Against Bournemouth, we did it. 9 seconds, we're 1-0 down, straight under the cosh. Then we go 1-0 down in this game, in a massive game. Now, what frustrates me more is not just the fact that Ramsdale's had an absolute, moment, but it's proved to me they're not focused. They're not concentrated. Their head's on Wednesday. They're not interested. Calm. It don't matter on Wednesday if you lose this one. It's done. Could be done already.
Dan, I don't think they're concentrating on Wednesday. I think they're in the moment, and the pressure makes people make bad decisions.
Yeah, I'll agree.
Because you know what, Dan? There was a simple pass to Rob Holding there,
There's
which
3
he
simple
looked
passes. Don't know what
Yeah.
he's looking at.
No, but there was one where it could just roll it to Rob Holding. But
Yep,
what did he
facts.
do? And if you watch that goal again, you watch the 2 Southampton players, they go as if they're not interested. And then as soon as he goes to pass it, they'd already set the trap.
Do you think he
They'd
was cocky
set the
though,
trap
Kev?
for
Do
Ramsdale.
you not think he was a bit cocky there, Ramsdale, for me?
Yeah, well, we can call it cocky, we can call it stupid, we can
Yeah.
call it what we like. But he thought, oh, the gap's there, I'm going to play it between them, trying to be smart. No, when you're in the position we're in, just play it to the right. 100% ball as opposed to, maybe 60% ball.
Yeah.
They trapped us and they scored. We're one in a game which is a must-win game. We're giving gifts away again.
Do you know what I'll say about it? What really annoys me about Ramsdale? Look, his cockiness or arrogance is his strength, but it's also his weakness, right? Okay.
I agree with that.
Right, like and I'm sorry for Ramsdale. This might be harsh now. If we don't win the league, he's at fault. Because I tell you why. He's made great saves for us and all that, like, is what he's supposed to do. And at that moment there, I ask him this question. If you sat him down now, you had that situation at Manchester City, would you have done that? I don't think he would. I think he'd done it because it's Southampton, bottom of the league attitude, and that's what really, really got my goat about it. Now, what I will say about this, I don't remember, off the top of my head, how many times Arsenal have been a goal down after a minute? I can't remember. We have been, but if it happened twice in a season at home, right? And it could have happened against Leeds as well because he made to save what is onto the post. That's 3 times.
In the last, is it 6-7 games?
Six home games and all that. You're a goal down at home within a minute. It's just not acceptable. It is not acceptable. Now, I get that if it goes through, we might get a look at it, and you just think to yourself, like, the risk and reward and all that. But what annoyed me about Friday night is that Southampton, forget about the result, forget about whatever, like Friday night, bottom of the league, top of the league, from the first minute to the whenever it finished, Arsenal never had control of that game of football. Never once did they have control of it. Even and that was my big worry, because why? Because we gifted them a goal, so we've got to chase straight away from the first whistle. And you can't. I don't care if it's,
we gifted them 2 goals.
Yeah, we gifted them 2 goals. We've done it against Bournemouth. We've done it
Exactly.
against Bournemouth, right? So you say, right, learn your lessons, right? We go 2-0 down against Liverpool. It can happen. You concede 5 minutes before half time. It can happen, right? It should not happen the following week, right? When you give away a goal in the first minute of a game, at any part of the season, you make sure it does not happen again. Not 3 weeks later, it happens again, and then again. You know what I mean? Like from there, that's my problem. So from that moment on, I know Mikel's looking on the phone. I'm not blaming him, by the way. He's looking and going, "My God, what's happening here?" Because you're right what you're saying, Kev. It's the wrong decision. He's made the pressure decision that he's done. Now, at the end of it, right. So you can go on this. This is what a little bit annoys me about Arsenal fans. You know what I mean? Yeah, we can all have a go at Ramsdale and we can all have a go at Holding and all that. Like, we missed chances. Like, unbelievable. Jesus missed 3 very, very good chances in that game. Like, now if he'd have scored the one which was a fantastic ball from Martinelli 20 minutes from the end,
at the back stick.
Who knows? And you talk about pressure, right? And I can tell you this now. The pressure was on us, right? Until 5 minutes from the end. And the pressure, you can totally see when we went 3-2, the pressure went all off of us onto them, because all of a sudden they thought, oh no, we've got 3 points here, it could probably keep us out of the relegations. All of a sudden it was down to 1, like, and they buckled under the pressure, Southampton, like, but what you had to do in that game there was get control of it from the word go, be patient, and just, and honestly, if we'd have got 1, we'd have got 2, we'd have got 3. But we were chasing it. And then when we went 2-0, we were still chasing it. The biggest disappointment also for me is that when we was 2-1 down at half time, right, you're feeling there was an onslaught. We never give their goalkeeper a shot to save until we was 3-1 down.
And we didn't give him any work. You're right.
Didn't give him no work because you could see the pressure was on. I'll be honest, when it went 3-2, everybody's cheering, and I just sat in my seat.
Yeah, I just clapped. I didn't even get up or anything. It
was a great goal, by the way. When I get back and had a look at the goal, it was a great goal by Odegaard. You know what I mean?
We had so many
but that's what we needed.
Yeah,
we needed somebody
he didn't
to get hold of that ball and do something.
He didn't turn up. For me, he didn't turn up to the 80th minute Friday night, Odegaard. And Jesus, he weren't himself either. For me, there was a few bad players in that Arsenal side. I thought Saka and Martinelli gave their all. Otherwise, it was a real struggle to pick who actually had a wicked game. For me, Party, not great. Nobody. I didn't look at anybody. But the one that got me, and I have to say it, and everyone thinks I'm going to say this because I love Tierney. It's nothing to do with that. Zinchenko's all over the place, guys, defensively. I'm sorry. I know he's great on the ball. I understand he's got to play for our thing. He was, to say poor is being very kind. He was absolutely shocking in parts. Defensively all over the place. When Odegaard passes that ball, which was never on, by the way, I don't know what got past he's seeing there. The one where Partey flicks it to him and he tries to get it to Jesus, I think it is. It's never going to him. I looked at it and I nearly said, he's going to score here, Theo. Look at where Zinchenko is. He's in the bloody middle. And Theo Walcott, who's had a bad season all year, decides to turn up because you know why? He looks at that and goes, right, my only chance of scoring is if I'm going to get in behind this lad because he's never at left back. He's always in the middle. And I'm still pacey. I'm 33, but I've still got legs. Boom. I've seen that goal at the Emirates loads and loads of times over the years for Arsenal. He knows what he's doing and he gets there and he's done it. Now, I understand what you're saying, Casey, because Gabriel and Holding don't really do their bit in terms of their defensive unit. And Ben White, I thought was terrible in the first half, picked it up in the second. But Zinchenko worries me. And then again, like Lee said, for the third goal, Zinchenko is not even looking what's around him. He's just marking space. No men around him. Now, I understand zonal marking. You have your zone. I get that. But you need to be aware of who's around you. And he's not. He's just staring into space. For me, it was a poor game. And I understand his passion and he gets the team rolled. I love all that because he's done it. He's a winner. He's got the mentality. But I thought he was a really poor game. And I don't know why people don't point at him. It seems like because he can't be talked about defensive. He's not a defender. He's not really He's not really no defender. We just say, hang on a minute. He had a poor game. Let's have it right. Kev, what do you think?
Listen, here's one thing I will say. You make some very valid points, Dan. But the same things we're getting punished for now is some of the reason why we're top of the league. Because Zinchenko is in midfield. Because the ball does get switched out and he gets on the ball and he starts attacks and all that kind of thing. Can he defend? Yeah, he can defend. But he's not a great defender. We all know that. But what he gives us going forward is more than we need defensively. We only start to really shine that magnifying glass with the light when things are going wrong. And let me tell you this. Theo didn't score because Zinchenko's not there. Theo scored, I'm telling you, because Gabriel's position is wrong. We know Zinchenko's going to be up the pitch. So Gabriel's got to know where the danger is. He's got to. Many people talk about Zinchenko playing in midfield. That is not the way Mikel Arteta wants to play. Because Kieran Tierney doesn't do the job that Zinchenko does. So he never wants to make that move. And I understand people are saying, Tierney can play and Zinchenko's a midfielder. He doesn't, because he feels like we're going to be too light, solely because Kieran Tierney isn't as comfortable as Zinchenko on the ball. But this all comes back to, we're giving Christmas presents away.
We are. It's poor.
In April. Do you know what I mean? This is what it comes down to. We give a Christmas present away in the first seconds of the game. They go 1-0 up. So all of a sudden, people are on tenterhooks a little bit. We give the ball away, then they go and score again. That's another gift. Theo Walcott, one-touch goal. I mean, 2-0 down at home, you're top of the league. All of a sudden, listen, guys, we're all fearing the worst. We're all fearing the worst. So what does that do for likes of Vieira, say, who is going to need to play himself into the game, not to be chasing the game, because that isn't his game either. If we had Granit Xhaka, I think that's a lot different than how Vieira is, because Vieira isn't a two-way player type. He's a on-the-ball merchant. But like I said, when they go 2-0 up, their players are just sitting in there thinking, all right, come on then, Arsenal. Because we just could sit here and be comfortable. And that's what they've done. Made life difficult for us. We pulled a goal back. And you're right, Dan. I thought Saka and Martinelli worked so hard. Gabriel Jesus, he always tries, but he didn't have his best game. Partey didn't have his best game. Why? Because we were under the pump, guys.
Yeah.
We were under the pump. We got back into the game. Then we go another 3-1 down. So it was just one of those games, as you said, we just couldn't get hold of it. It was like a bloody roller coaster all evening, wasn't it? And then to come back 3-2, to get 3-3, and then Trossard hits the bar thinking we're going to win it, but unfortunately we couldn't get over the line on that. But I don't think we deserved it, guys, if I'm honest.
No, we didn't deserve
to
win.
Not the win.
I don't think we deserved to win. I'll take the point, but we didn't deserve much.
I think you're right. It's a great point that you make there, Kev, that some of the things we're doing, we look at Zinchenko, he has probably won us more points than he's lost, and probably Aaron Ramsdale has as well when you look at it, the saves that he's made, to the actual mistakes that he's made. I think he's conceded, from his mistakes, six or eight goals. I see the stat of it all, but he's saved us quite a few and probably made us a few more with the way he plays and all that. And I'm not, we're not criticising.
No, because we want to be perfect. Let's have it right. We want to be perfect to win this league, because we know we're going to have to be near perfect.
Yeah, and the thing is, at the moment, like, people going, oh, it's because we're playing Manchester City, we're challenging Manchester City for the league. We are, but we're not at the moment. That comes on Wednesday. You know what I mean? We've just played bottom of the league. That's got nothing to do with Manchester City. It's got nothing to do with how well Manchester City are doing or whatever. We're playing bottom of the league. We played West Ham when we're 2-0 up after 10 minutes, that are in the bottom half of the table. Nothing to do with Manchester City. We're not playing Manchester City. We're playing Manchester City on Wednesday. That's a different kettle of fish. These are the games when you look back at it. I don't, whatever happens at the Etihad or whatever. These are the games I look back at if we win it or we don't, and you go, right. Same. They were the games. Southampton at home, we should have won that. Southampton away, probably should have won that. But also you could look at it and go, do you know what? If Arsenal win it by a point, that point might be valuable. Yeah. Could be proven it. So that's why I'm not going to. Now, what worries me about Arsenal, I'm going to say this now, say it on here now. I believe, and I've always believed this, Arsenal will win on Wednesday night. I believe we'll go up there and we'll beat them. Right? But what worries me is we've got another one of those performances against a Nottingham Forest or a Brighton or a Newcastle or a Chelsea. That is my worry. I'm not really. I think on that day, toe to toe, we're as good as Manchester City with 11 against 11. They've got a better squad. We all know that,
Do you not think, though, Lee? And I'm sorry to be negative, but do you not think the last 3 games have proved to you that we won't win on Wednesday night?
No, because it's different games.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Because
genuine question. I'm not trying to be funny.
No. Because West Ham, when we played West Ham, right, a point for them was as massive as the 3 points for us. Southampton, the point was as massive for them as the 3 points was to us. Liverpool, right, yeah, weren't playing under the pressure that we was playing under. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so when they were 2-0 down, what they got to lose? You know what I mean? Like, they can come out, it was free, do whatever they wanted to do. This game now, the pressure's on Manchester City to win this game as much as us. Now, I'm telling you this now, there's a difference in that. It's a difference when you're playing those sort of games. What pressure was there on Fulham when we played Fulham? No real pressure. We beat them 3-0. The Fulham under meltdown because of that? No. When we beat Crystal Palace, were they under meltdown? No. They was under pressure, by the way, Crystal Palace. But we beat them comfortably, like, you know. But the fact of the matter is now, there is been a lot of pressure built up on us. We've all been there. I've been there before. I'll tell you what, one thing I will say about it, and this is maybe where Arteta comes into it and all that. Like, I've seen us have the league eaten away in '89. I see it. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to think what the internet was like and Twitter and all that. You know what I mean?
That week, remember Derby and Wimbledon.
You know what I mean? It was incredible. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm going to be really honest about it. When we was going up to Liverpool, I had a chance of going up there, and I said, "Oh no, I'm bothering going up there." Like, you know what I mean? Worst mistake of mine. I didn't have that positivity, right? I didn't believe. You know, but people did, and we ended up going and winning there. So I'm not going to make that mistake again. Like, I think that we have got a chance of winning there. Why do I think we've got a chance of winning there? Because I think we are still a good side. I just think that, and do you know what? One of my Spurs mates at football today said a very, very good point. It might suit us now that the pressure might be off us a little bit on Wednesday night. Like, you know, like
pressure ain't off us. Pressure ain't off us. Pressure's well and truly on us.
Maybe it is that because we got, you know, like if we was 1-0 up with 10 minutes to go, oh my God, panic defending and all that. Like, if we're 1-0 down with 10 minutes to go, we know we just got to throw it all again, like we did in the last 5 minutes of that game on Friday. Just go for it.
You know what I mean? Listen, so most people think we've messed it up anyway. So the pressure's not on us. It is because of the position we're in, but there's more pressure on Manchester City now because they're at home.
Yeah, they've got
our away form says we could go up there and beat them. Our away form. Our current form says it's not going to happen. But the big teams rise for the big occasions. And this is what we have to, again, this is another prove it game for us.
And Kev, if you want to win the league, you have to do something special somewhere along the line. You have to go to a team like Liverpool and beat them 2-0 to win it. Like, I remember in '91 when we played there, Paul Merson scored the goal up at Anfield 1-0, went up there and won 1-0. Yeah. You go to Man United to win the league in '98. Went up there over Mars. You know,
2002.
You have a look at all those title wins. Somewhere along the line, you can go. You've got to do it. And I look at last season. I know we didn't get through at the end. Like, I remember going 3 defeats on the spin, going to Chelsea. No one give us a hope in hell beating Chelsea that night, like me included.
With Eddie up top, you remember?
And we turned them over. So we're capable of doing it. And I've never this game's, to me, Dan, I'm going to be really honest. I've said it to you before. This game's never really worried me. It was the games before, the Liverpool, like, you know, because of the pressure building and everything like that.
Well, West Ham and Southampton didn't worry me, and look what happened. So we need to just go into every game now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what also gives me a little bit of confidence, and you might.
What is it? 7? What is it? 6? Is it 7 or 6 games left now? 6. 6-game season. It's a 6-game season. That's it.
You know, and also, Kev, in the FA Cup when we went up there, for the first, I know we lost the game, but the first half we was fantastic. So I feel that we'll go up there, do you know, and not be up under the pump. I think that we will play them at our own game. I think we'll get possession against them. I think it'd be a bloody good game.
Yeah.
But you know.
Do you see us scoring 3 or 4?
I'm gonna. Do you want me to put my prediction? My prediction is 3-2 to the Arsenal. Yeah. I do think that there'll be goals. I do think there will be. I just think that there'll be a little bit more of freedom in our play. I think there hasn't been freedom in our play in the last couple of games. Certainly, like you know,
tight.
you look at the game against. Yeah, against West Ham, that first 10 minutes, the freedom was there. But when then all of a sudden, a bit of pressure come on us and we couldn't handle it, I think if we're, 1-0 down against Man City, let's see what happens and go for it, So, I don't know what's going to,
I want us to take the lead. I want us to take the lead.
Yeah, go here and see what happens. You know what I mean? I watched Liverpool. I watched Man City against Sheffield United. They're not. They didn't frighten. I'm thinking, wow.
Sheffield United created some chances as well, by the way.
They wasn't. They didn't frighten me like. Oh, I tell you what, they've not frightened me like Man United have in the past or Liverpool in the past. You know what I mean? That Liverpool side, very very similar. Smashing teams left, right, and centre until they played us that day. And do you know what? The pressure went on them because they thought, well, they didn't know what to do. Did they have to win it or did they have to draw it or whatever? We know we've got to go there and win this game. We've got to go and win this game,
Do you think we've got to win, Kev? Because like Jamie Carragher was saying, a draw will be all right because they'll still drop points, see. But I think we've got to win, man.
Yeah, listen, we want to go there with a winning mindset for sure, Dan. Look, at the end of the day, we got to go up there to win. You go up there and win. That's you're trying to drag that trophy away from Manchester. But it's not a bad result if we draw. The one thing we can't do is get beat. That's the one thing we can't do. Because if we get beat, this thing's over, in a sense.
I agree.
And I agree. And the thing is, when people go, seeing in the chat, we're conceding goals and all that, the reason we conceded goals in the last few games is because there's been a different pressure and we've not handled it well. When we know that in this game here, let's put it this way: if they run out and within a minute Ireland scored, I'll hold my hands up and go, right, yeah, no lessons learned. We're in for a hard day. But I expect us to not make the mistakes that we've made in the last couple of games. I expect us to learn from this game. And at the end of it, we've lost 3 games this season. That's all we've lost and all that. Have a little bit. Yes, we've gone on through a little bit of a couple of bad games, games that we've expected to win, right? We're not expected to win this one now. So it might be different. We've expected to win those games and we haven't won them. So we might not be expected to win this game. We might win it. Who knows? Football's a funny game. It's a funny game.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something. The Arsenal that we've seen most of the season, for the last, you could say for the first half against Liverpool and for the first 10, 30 minutes against West Ham, the football we played was unbelievable. We lost our way, obviously, second half against Liverpool. We lost our way after half an hour against West Ham. The other night, we just totally lost our way from the beginning. We were all over this place. What a win will do for Arsenal at Manchester City, you will see the team perform to the highest level if Arsenal win. Because they know we've just beaten the biggest juggernaut, perennial winners of this title. So this is one that we have to prove. Do you know what I mean? We have to prove we can win it. This is about, as much as it's about City, it's about us as well, because we've got to prove we can win it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Listen, I felt like we potentially might have thrown the title away at the Anfield one. I thought,
I look at that game.
That ain't good for psychologically. Then we went to West Ham and I thought, okay, we have definitely started to throw this away. And then Friday night proved to me that perhaps the squad ain't quite strong enough and we just ain't quite ready. That's my honest opinion. If I was to sit here now and be honest, if you want me to be optimistic, I can sure do that. I've done it all year. But if you want me to be real and take my Arsenal hat off for a minute, I didn't have us in this position at the start of the season. So perhaps that's just the reality of it and the squad ain't quite good enough. But when you are 8 points clear, let's get it right. If we do throw this away, I don't care if people cry about it. We will have bottled the league. That's just facts. But that's what football is about. We bottle stuff, right? We've done it before. I've seen Arsenal bottle stuff before. I've seen Man United do it. I've seen Chelsea do it. I've seen Man City do it. Real Madrid do it. The list goes on. Let's just not cry about it just because people are starting to be a bit mean to Arsenal and calling us bottlers, yeah? Let's do it first. If we do, then I'm happy to accept that. But for me, I felt on Friday night the only thing that you could do to hold a little bit of positivity on it was the fight that we showed at the end, because it showed me all of these players care. The manager cares, the players care. At 3-1, Lee will tell you I was there. You was there, to be fair, Kev, as well. I've never seen the Emirates so quiet, so flat,
Yeah.
so silent in 2 years. Everybody knew. They looked at each other and went, that's going to be it then. We're done. We're screwed. And then when we showed the fight, no one was going, wow, we're back in it, blah, blah, blah. But actually it was like, okay, this team don't know when they're dead and buried quite yet. And that has got to be a fairly good sign, Lee, going into Wednesday.
100%. Listen, someone made a good point. I've lost it now. Like, you know, we beat Man City in the FA Cup semi-final with Mustafi, Holding, and
Kolasinac and all them.
Kolasinac at the back, like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's when they was in their prime. They was in their prime, you know what I mean? De Bruyne are in their prime and everything like that. So that when people turn around and say, we ain't going to win there and all that, like, why are you writing off Arsenal so much? Like, you know what I mean? Listen, as I say, I think we can go there and win and then and lose somewhere else, because that's what we've got in there. You know, the pressure might come on us again, like, you know. But for me, I'm a very, very, you know, how can I say it? This team's not let me down very much this season. It hasn't let me down. You know what I mean? Like, even on Friday, I was fuming with them, but they didn't let me down in the end. You know what I mean? They got a draw out of that. You know what I mean? Where most teams wouldn't get a draw out of that. Come on, it was done. It was done. You know,
87th minute,
87th minute, we're 3-1
down at home.
You know, and do you know, going on there, what's the biggest disappointment for me in that game? The biggest disappointment was that when we got it to 2-2 within 2 minutes, we had 8 more minutes to get the result, and we never really looked like scoring after that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was a bit of a disappointment for me, because you know why? The pressure was back on again. You know, and pressure takes a lot of things and everything at this moment. Don't forget, at this moment in time, we're getting to the right. We've hit the stretch. Manchester City haven't hit the stretch yet. They're a couple of games behind us, you know what I mean? So the pressure's not, you know, the pressure's on them now. So it's a different pressure from them now. If they lost a couple, they go, it didn't really matter. Like, but now they've got the pressure of it's in their hands. They're you know, they're going to throw it away if they don't win it. And, you know, listen, they were 2-0 down. Who were they 2-0 down to last season? And I know they come back, but, you know, it ain't straightforward.
Last game of the season.
Villa,
last game of the season.
Villa, yeah.
Yeah, it ain't straightforward, like, you know. And
all right, let me ask you both this then. Let me ask, and real talk, right? With this current Arsenal squad available, with Saliba out and, you know, Xhaka hopefully back, and with Manchester City's current squad, what position do you want to be in? Do you want to be in Man City's right now, or do you want to be in Arsenal's, Kev?
Oh, Man City's now, because they've got home advantage.
But if we beat Man City, then we want to be in
no,
Arsenal's.
I'd rather be in our hands.
Dan, I'd rather be in Arsenal's because I want the points on the board.
Okay.
There's that as well, yeah.
The fact of the matter is, I'm telling you now,
That's
having the points on the board is so much more important, because people are presuming Manchester City are just going to go and turn teams over left, right, and centre. No, we've seen things happen in this league that you cannot legislate for. One is VAR, mate. Stuff like that can happen and go against you. The wrong bounce, and next minute, listen, they're going to be playing against teams who are fighting for their life as well. Let's have it right. So we're going to be playing against teams like that. I'd much rather the points on the board. I'd much rather be 8 points clear, Dan, than 5. Of
course.
But that's why this coming down to this game, because you know what? What a win does for us after a wobble, it puts us back into the driving seat.
Do you know last season when Liverpool were playing Man City away from home and all that, I didn't see everybody going, Man City going to win 4 or 5-0. I didn't see that. You know what I mean? Like, there was a bit of thing there, you know what I mean? The confidence and everything like that. And don't tell me that Liverpool haven't had wobbles over the time, and that because they have. I think that, you know, we are top of the league for a reason, because we have been playing some superb stuff. I think we've been the best footballing side in the league by a country mile this year. Like, you know, the reason that it's not going so well now is because the pressure's been on us. I get that, and I take that humbly and bold. I think if at the end of the day, if we'd have beaten, let's say if we'd have beaten, say if we'd have drawn with Liverpool, beaten
West Ham.
West Ham and beat Southampton, I don't think anybody would be turning around. Say we beat Southampton 3-2 and we won that game 3-1 or 3-2 against West Ham. I don't think no one in the chat be going, Rob Holding like this and because Rob Holding's playing out against Ireland because of this and because of that. The reason that we've got a little bit nervous is because what we've seen in the last couple of games. But that's different
That's
games.
understandable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's understandable. This is a one-off game going up against them, like, you know. Now, even the game against Man City, they beat us 3-1, deservedly so. But again, we made mistakes that day. Otherwise, you know, we was 1-0 down, come back to 1-1, looked like we might get it.
That's what we can't do again.
Yeah, we gave the gifts away again.
We cannot give them gifts.
Yeah.
We cannot go up there bearing gifts. We've got to go up there and put in a bloody good performance. Don't give away nothing. And we've got a chance. I really do. I really do feel that.
Do you know what, Lee? Lee, think about this. Everton, who have one of the worst away records in the league, go to Man City and draw one each.
Yeah, got a point.
Brentford, who are a decent side, but they're not brilliant, are they? They go up there and win
on the counter-attack.
On the counter-attack, we're the best team in the league away from home.
Look at this optimism, man. You're making me optimistic now, Kev. Do you know what I'm saying?
And listen, I tell you one thing, Dan. One thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to throw this Arsenal team away because we've had a wobble. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm going to believe in this team. And do you know what? If it goes pear-shaped, I'm big enough and I'm strong enough to take flack that's going to come. And yeah, you bottled it and all that. I believe in these guys because you know what? We wanted a title race and we've got one, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. That's facts for sure. Do you know what's mad? Like, I spoke to Big Steve not too long ago. I'm talking maybe 6 weeks ago from Man City, right? And we both said, I don't think this Etihad game is actually going to prove the title. I think it's going to be games before that people have got to win. Don't lose the ones against XYZ. This season, Man City have drop points at Everton and Villa, Forest. You know, they lost to Liverpool and United like we've struggled to beat at times this season so far as well, away at Old Trafford at Anfield. And now we get to it and it is going to mean something on Wednesday. After all that, we thought it weren't going to be. It is going to mean it is massive. This is the biggest game that I can remember in a very, 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 very long time. We're going back Highbury days for me. This is how big this one is Wednesday for me, Kev.
I think biggest game in, 20 years?
Yeah,
guys?
It's got to be. Got to be.
20 years. That's the last 19, 20 years when we won the title previously. Because, look, we if I'm honest, I never saw us having a season like this. But you know what? I am so pleased we have had a season like this. I'm so pleased. We're a young team who are maturing. We're giving it the best shot we've got. And yeah, we do not have the depth in squad. We've known this all along, guys, haven't we? Yeah. We do not have the depth of squad. We know what we've got to do in the summer. But you know what? I still have that belief that I'd just love Arsenal to get across the line.
Oh, absolutely we would, yeah.
Listen, Spurs went up there and were 2-0 up at half-time.
Oh, yeah, listen, there's other teams. True. Other teams have done it. Other teams have done it.
Well, you know, they're not
unbeatable.
They're not unbeatable. They're not.
It's because of how they're playing at the moment. They're destroying everyone at the moment. That's the problem. People
they're destroying teams that they're supposed to be destroying. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we should be doing what they've done. Really, we should have done that to Southampton. Do you know what I mean? Like at the end of it, we should have done like, you know. But this is a team that went to White Hart Lane and lost. We didn't. Yeah, we went there and won. So at the end of it, you know, let's just have a little bit. Look, I might be. We'll come back on Thursday, and I might be like down in the dumps and all that, like, you know what I mean? Because I thought, oh well, you know, I put faith in it. But I'll tell you what, I've got more faith in this team than I've had for a very, very long while. Why? Because of what they've done in all season, not what they've just done in the last two games. What they've done from the first game up until those last two, up until the Liverpool game. Right. The reason we're all saying Arsenal got a chance to win the league is that because of what we've done all season. Don't judge it on the last three games. See what happens on Wednesday. See what happens, and then we'll make a judgment. But you know, if if what I've seen in the chat, if the players and the manager got that attitude, we might as well not bother coming.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like,
we
come
can't
on.
listen. We can't afford, guys. We can't afford to think defeatist. We can't.
No. And why would you give up on this team?
Exactly, Lee.
Why would you
Exactly.
give up on this team? Right, and I'll be honest with you.
6 games to go,
With
when you
6
can
games
win
to
it.
go, 3-1 down with 3 minutes to go. Pull it back to 3-3, and we want to give up on them now. I'm not giving up on this
No
team now. I'm
chance.
going up there on Wednesday. I'm going to give it, everything
Give
that
it
I
everything.
can.
If it
Oh,
doesn't
listen, you
work
gotta
out,
do that.
hey,
That's
it
facts.
doesn't work out.
And
But
it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out.
I believe
And-
in these guys.
And at the end of it, yes, I'm going to be really honest with you. If we don't win the league, yes, I'm going to be disappointed. Yes, it's a failure. It is a failure because we've been in a position where we should have won it. But I ain't going to go hunting these players down. Yeah, they've made mistakes and that, but they've been fantastic for 80% of the majority of this season, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm going to keep the fight. I'm not going to, because of a couple of poor results, and by the way, which we've not lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on, listen, I was down. I was bloody down on Friday.
We all were.
Sleep and all
We
that.
all were,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Especially
Very
for
down and all that.
last Sunday and Friday.
Yeah,
I
been
was
hurting.
frustrated.
Yeah, frustrating, hurting and all that, you know what I mean? But at this time last season and the year before that and all that, we was losing games. You know what I mean? And well, you're crap, aren't they? You know what I mean? Now we're drawing games.
Three games on the spin.
We're drawing games and we're getting the ump.
Brighton,
Crystal
Southampton, and Palace, wasn't it?
Brighton and Southampton. There you go.
And now,
like Jay says there, would you take a draw? I'll take a draw if we're 1-0 down with a minute to go. But no, I'm taking.
You got to risk it and go for the free, ain't you?
I'll tell you, the last couple of games, it has felt like that, hasn't it? If say like someone said to you, this is what the title's been like to us for the last few games. If you would you take beating Man City away from home, you go take a draw at Man City, you go yeah. But if you're 2-0 up against Man City with a minute to go, and you draw 2-2, you'd be pissed off, wouldn't you? You'd be sick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how it feels like for us at the moment. We take a draw, but realistically, we're still in a great position at this moment in time. You know what I mean?
Listen, before we do the last couple of super chats, going to ask both of you, what would your team be if everyone's back against Man City? And what's your predictions? Lee, start with you.
If Xhaka's fit, I'm going to go with. I don't think Saliba's going to be fit. I'd love to see him being out there.
If he is, he plays.
If he's in, if he's fit,
he plays. If he's not, Holding plays.
Yeah, then Holding, same back four as normal. Shinchenko on the left, Xhaka and Partey, Odegaard, front three as usual up top, Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka. So that's
if Xhaka's not there, Lee, who plays?
Tierney at left back, Shinchenko in midfield.
Cool.
I think that's what I'd do. And if he doesn't fancy that because he wants to play Zinchenko there, then I probably would either go with Trossard and just go for it, or try and be a little bit reserved and go with Partey pushed forward and Jorginho holding and keeping things sensible. But I don't know what he's going to do, man. He's probably going to play Vieira. So let's see. Kev, what about you, man?
Yeah,
Jorginho might come in that game then because it's away from home.
Yeah, could do. Look, that I think we missed the extra midfield nous and toughness of Xhaka. We did the box-to-box effort, that balance with his left foot, and he's a bigger lump than Vieira. He can put himself about a bit. Xhaka's fit, he plays. Saliba's fit, he plays. If Saliba's not fit, Holding's going to play. Much more like what Lee said. The midfield's probably going to be Partey, Xhaka, and Odegaard. Front three virtually pick themselves. I think Trossard is going to feel a little bit downhearted because I think he deserves to start somewhere, and I don't know if he's gonna. Could we see him coming into that midfield to play in that Xhaka role? If I just don't see it. I think we need more athleticism and know-how. So we might see Jorginho even come in and Partey take that spot as well, Dan. But It's going to be really interesting, depending on who's fit.
Fair play, man. Listen, I'm the same as you. A lot of people in the chat talking about going to a back five. I don't see that happening. I really
No
don't.
chance.
I think we're going to go for this because I think Arteta wants to win it, and so do the players. For me, yeah, I would go with Jorginho and Partey, or Partey and Trossard if Xhaka's not fit. Saliba if he's going to be, you throw him in. If not, it's Holding. But I don't have a very good feeling about this one, boys. I really don't. And I know that everyone gets on my back about it, but I just don't think we're going to win the game. So I'll ask you for your predictions. I think we're going to lose this one. I think it's not going to be like a smashing, but I do feel like we're going to lose it 3-1. Lee, over to you.
3-2 to the Arsenal.
Lee said 3-2. That's what I've said weeks ago. 3-2. Arsenal going to win it. Shock everyone.
Let's hope so, man. I really, really hope so. Going to take these last two super chats before we wrap up. This one comes in from Sam Bond. Sam, big up yourself, mate. Hope you're well. He says, blame Arteta. The same thing happened last year. It's not the players aren't good enough. It's their mentality, and the manager is responsible for that. Kev, let's come to you on that one because I know that you're a big fan of what the manager's done, and rightly so this season. But there are some fans out there that are questioning him of late in terms of his in-game management, his substitution, and his team selection. So what would you say to that, bro?
What I'd say to that is it's easy to point the finger, but look, the players have never been in this position. When you're on that pitch, Mikel Arteta can't make Ramsdale play that pass. Ramsdale is a professional footballer. He's got to know what to do. He knows 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100, he passes it to Rob Holding. What is he doing trying to take risks in the first seconds of the game? So people could blame Arteta if you want, but the bottom line is, guys, and I keep saying it, once the players cross that white line, they're the ones who have to make all the decisions. They're the ones who have to set the game plan, implement the game plan, and execute the game plan. The manager can only put suggestions and change certain players, etc. But when we're winning, it's funny. There's never a problem. No one's ever questioned the manager and the mindset of the team when we're winning. Now that we're going in a little wobble, all of a sudden the manager can't get the players' mindset right. No, players get the mindset right. Stop this nonsense about the manager. It's the players.
Lee, this last one comes in from Mike, and he's very confident, mate. He's like yourself and Kev. He's saying, boys, it's in our DNA. No matter what the manager and players, we will win leagues at our rivals' grounds. It's what we do. We beat City, and that momentum wins us the league. Come on, you Gunners. There are some Gunners out there a little bit like unsure about this one and concerned. I'm not going to lie to you. You know, I'm one of those. There's a lot of Gunners like you two and others that think we're going to go and be all right about this. So there's a lot of confidence within this squad still, Lee. And I think, like Mike has said there, we got to go all out for it on Wednesday, man. And if we come out with 3 points, everybody will be. There won't be previous comments like this one about Arteta and management. Put it that way.
Listen,
it'll be like we're going to win the league again.
Said it all along. Said weeks ago. Like, enjoy the ride. It's going to be horrible at times, like, but like this is what we've all been moaning and groaning about, like, you know what I mean, for years. A title challenge. We've got it now, like, you know. And when I look back at those title challenges, there's never been easy ones. There's been some fucking heartbreakers along the way. I'll go back, like, you know, to 89. You know, at one stage it looked to have got going all wrong. In 98, we was out of it. We was out of it for a long while and got on a great run. And, you know, I mean, no one says about Man United bottling it. It was the Arsenal come good at the end, like, you know. In 91, we had the setback of the semi-final. Overcome
big
that
time
to go on and win the league, you know what I mean, and do that there. 2002, I remember losing to Charlton at home. Charlton at home.
And there were people throwing their toys at the pram.
Throwing their
Remember
toys
that,
out,
I
like,
remember.
me included, like, you know what I mean. Like, I had to go work on that Sunday for my mate. I was doing a favour for him, like, you know, and I was, you know, fuming like all the time, like, you know, going like, they're rubbish, they're useless, you know what I mean, like that. But they ended up winning the league, like, you know. In 2004, we had a terrible couple of days. FA around about this time, FA Cup semi-final, went out to Chelsea, 2-1 down to Liverpool at half time. It turned around. There is always difficult moments to win the league. we might not go on like we've had difficult moments and not won the league in 2003 and 99 and all that. Like we might not go on and win this league, but I'm telling you that now. Someone's saying that, Adam. That's exactly right. Go and get Fever Pitch. Watch it for the next couple of days. Enjoy it. Remember, there's always a chance. Do not write off this football club, and certainly I'm not going to write off these players. They might have made mistakes in the last few games, but they have done me proud this season.
Yep.
Just go up there and do me proud again. That's all.
Do you think? And I'll ask you two this because you go back further than me. Hey, I know, yeah. Does this remind you of any of those seasons, like 89?
Yeah,
like
89
91?
all over. This is 89 all over, Dan. Right, I'm there at Ironbury against Derby. Right. We are winning the league for the first time in my lifetime.
On the Saturday.
Like, you know what I mean? On the Saturday, we are winning the league. We're playing bottom of the table, Derby County. Ain't won for how long, like, you know what I mean? And Dean Saunders gets a penalty, we end up losing, right? All right, okay. We've got to beat Wimbledon, and then we can go up to Anfield. We can get a draw. We draw up there.
Draw against Wimbledon at home too.
Nigel Winterburn gets us to 2-1 with a right foot shot from 35 yards. Yeah. Screamer. When he hits that with his right foot, you're turning around and saying, like, at the end of it, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, it was written on the stars, you know. And I tell you have to thank Rossini. What's his first name?
Leroy
Rossini. He scored at Anfield 5-1. Yeah. If he doesn't score that goal, Dan, we have to win there 3-0. Right? So Leroy Rossini has a big part to play in it as well, like, you know. So it was all there, like, you know, listen, I'm not going to lie, Dan. Do you think I was happy about walking out of that Wimbledon game and all that, like Derby? Do you think, like, you know what I mean? I'm calling them all sorts of names. Jules Graham, fucking useless, you know what I mean? Like, gets us this far and we end up losing the league to him, like, you know. That is how it was. You know what I mean? I'm not going to make that mistake. Listen, if Arsenal go there on Wednesday and they get smashed and all that, of course I'm going to have the I'm going to be annoyed and everything like that. Like, you know what I mean? They're going to be all the names under the sun. But I'm going to back them until they can't win this league no more.
So it's mathematical.
It's still mathematical.
We've got to stick with them. We've got to stick with them, guys. This isn't the time. Not with 6 games to go. This isn't the time to give up, guys.
No, and I'll tell you what, it's not the time to give up.
Absolutely, no one's going to give up. Everyone's down, deflated. I get that.
Yeah.
And I get
frustrated.
that.
Yeah,
frustrated.
I'd give up at 3-1. I'm a liar if I'm not sitting here. I've give up on them. Aaron Ramsdale's getting called every name under the sun, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm looking at Arteta, like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know, Odegaard bangs in a goal. I don't cheer. I've gone mentally, physically gone, like, you know what I mean? But I tell you what, who didn't mentally, physically gone? The players, because they come back. You know what I mean? And give me a little bit of hope. I know it's bad and everything.
Could have won it.
I'll come out of that game. You don't deserve nothing if you lose.
And they felt the hurt. You could see they were hurt.
Lying on the pitch. Yeah, they hated it.
You could see they were hurt.
You could see it. You could see it, man. Right, last question before we wrap up. We win the league or become second. How would you describe both of those scenarios in a word? If we win the league, what's the word? I'm amazing. I imagine it's around amazing. What sort of word do you have if we don't and we come second?
Disappointed.
The word if we don't win it is crucial. And you might say, crucial. Why would you say it's crucial? It's crucial for us to get back into that Champions League, get back into that the group stages, so we can really ramp this squad up, Dan. This is so important now, because the reason why we don't win it, if we don't win it, is because we haven't got the squad that City's got. That's why. But it will be crucial for us to be able to strengthen in key positions like we know we need, and carry a bigger squad and a more talented squad. So when Saliba's out, somebody who's coming in is more than capable of playing 10, 15 games, bang, 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 at a high level. midfield. Party's not there. We've got a midfielder or two who can go in there and play to a level that Thomas Partey's on the bench when he's fit. Do you know what I mean? Because he can't get back in because we've got enough quality. So crucial's mate.
Listen, it's key that in the summer for me anyway, wherever we finish. I looked at Caicedo today. I'd love him. Absolutely superb.
Outstanding.
Declan Rice the other night for West Ham drove him
Get the
forward
both
again
of them,
today.
mate.
Was
I swear
superb.
to you.
The pair
Get
of
both
them,
of them.
wow, that's Xhaka and Partey's replacement right there. It's refreshed. They're in the ages of 22 and 24, I think they are. They look like they're going to be sensational for the next few years. So for me, that would be two good signings. I will be devastated if we don't win this league, right? Absolutely devastated. I will. And people have said to me many times, is it a failure? Is it a failure? Well, yeah, because the opposite to a failure is success. And we haven't been successful because we haven't got anything to show for it. But we've come a long way, right? So I can do that. But what I absolutely hate is when people will say, oh, well, we were only supposed to come fourth anyway. I hate
Not
that.
having
Well, will you take fourth now then? Because I wouldn't. I'd take first. I always should be taking first. So we need to be. It's okay to say we're devastated, we're disappointed, and we've ballsed it up. That's what I'm trying to get at. Nobody wants to do that. Well, no, we haven't. We've done unbelievable. We've done it. Yeah, we have. We've done unbelievable, but we ballsed it up. We were 8 points clear, and we threw it away potentially. So let's hope we don't have to say that, man.
We
Let's
don't
go
win it, we
Wednesday
failed.
and kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We don't
exactly.
win it, we failed.
Exactly. We
That's
failed.
it.
And so
That's it.
what, man?
Ain't
I
the end
don't
of the
get
world,
this.
is it?
Yeah, exactly. We've done it before. We failed before. You have to fail to be successful. But a
You
lot
gotta
of
learn.
people
Yeah.
do not like it. They seem to hate the word bottling or failed and stuff. You know why it is? It's because everyone calls Tottenham bottlers. That's what it is. Everyone then don't want it to be linked by them. Don't even put us in the same bracket as them because they are nothing like us. Yeah, they never win anything. So listen, that's the way it is. Keep the faith. Wednesday's huge. We win and we see where we go from there. Kev, thank you so much for coming on, brother. Absolute legend.
Cheers,
Good
Dan.
to see you, my
Cheers,
friend.
Lee. As always, mate. Thanks for
Brilliant,
everybody
Jake.
joining us, by the way.
Brilliant.
Hit the like button.
Hit the lights.
Absolutely, people. Absolutely. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe if you're new. Help this channel get up to 40k. That would be amazing. And if you want to become a new member, you can do in the description as well. If you can head over to my pod, that would be amazing as well on my channel and do the same thing. Football's 12th Man podcast. That would be superb as well. Lee, thank you for cheering me up, mate. I can't lie to you. You've given me a hell of a lot of optimism, man.
There you go. My
That's what's
pleasure,
needed.
like, you know what I mean? My pleasure.
Go. I'll tell you what. I'll buy you a fillet of fish next time I see you.
Oh, I love it like that. I mean, like, I'm a big Mac, thank you very much.
Top man. Listen, guys, make sure you smash a like on the way out. We'll see you next time where hopefully we picked up 3 points of the Etihad. Take care and up the Arsenal.
Cheers.